All right, everyone, in this video, we're gonna talk about 4 cost-effective ways to rank in a competitive niche. So here we go. So first and foremost, the easiest thing you can do that not a lot of people will think about is going out there and buying websites. So what do I mean by that? You can actually Google websites, maybe sites in your niche, for example. Let's say you're into hunting, for example, you're into survival or whatever. Look at the top 10 websites. Look at what's ranking well. Go look at them through Ahrefs. Go look at them through BuzzSumo, for example. You want to see how they're doing, what they're ranking well for, and then from there, try to decide if it makes sense to buy them or not. Obviously, you're going to reach out to them. You're going to do some due diligence. Obviously, that's for another video. That's more around kind of M&A business, but I'm going to make it a little easier for you. There's actually 2 websites that you can go to evaluate other websites. Perhaps there are some sites up for sale. So if I'm looking at my screen over here, FE International, they actually are a website brokerage. So one of my friends, Thomas, he runs that company. He is the CEO. And basically, they've helped do some pretty big deals. They actually helped broker the deal between Drip and Lead Pages. Drip is the email service provider that I use. So FE International is one of them. And the second one is bizbuysell.com. So bizbuysell, same deal. You can look for different categories. Maybe you want to buy a SaaS company, e-commerce company. So we're talking about companies here, but you also want to look at from an SEO perspective, how are they doing? The idea here is that, let's say I'm opening up BuzzSumo right here. If I open up content marketing, I can look at the sites that are doing well over the last year, the last 6 months or so, maybe try to filter out these large websites over here. But I can see, oh, HubSpot has something, Website Magazine has something, Moz has something. You can just kind of go down the list. You're going to do some more due diligence here. I'm just giving you the high level. And you can also look at Ahrefs too to look at the top keywords that the sites are ranking for. With Ahrefs, you can basically say, okay, well, what type of top keywords are they ranking for? How many do they have? How many are in the top 3 position? From there, you can make a judgment call on whether you want to buy the website or not. Now, the other thing is, I recommend taking a look at the skyscraper technique. So this is from Brian Dean. And the skyscraper technique is basically, you look at the top 10 results, maybe the top 5 or so, to make it a little easier. So you look at the top 5 and you say, what can I do that is 10x, 20, 30x better, where there is no doubt in my mind that they have almost no chance of catching up with me. So let me give you an example. If I Google the keyword online marketing right here, I'm going to be able to see that my podcast co-host, Neil Patel, well, he occupies actually the top 2 positions. And the number 2 position right now is actually the one that I like better. And sometimes it really hovers between number 1 and number 2. So if I click on it, I can see right here that QuickSprout, this is a skyscraper piece of content. Now, what do I mean by that? It's so much higher than the other results that it makes sense for it to be number 1. Like, leave no shadow of doubt that it should be number 1. Same thing with Wikipedia, for example. Wikipedia pages tend to get upgraded over and over and over, where it's the canonical piece, right? So you can see this one, this guide is designed really well. This is, Neil told me he paid $30,000 for this guide just to get it designed and to get it written really well. So there's 14 chapters in here. I can click into this chapter over here, and then I can scroll down. This is how you occupy top positions, right? You use the skyscraper technique. No one's saying you need to go out there and spend $30,000, but you take this concept, even if you look at Wikipedia, that's another example. You can take those elements and make them into your own. Other thing you can do here is you can look at Market Muse. So Market Muse is great for basically looking at your site and looking at keywords that a page is missing. So it's going to point out things like, oh, this is what other sites are using in your niche. This is what you're missing. These are the keywords that you need to be adding in. The other thing is you can obviously use Google Search Console. Google Search Console is great. It's free. Basically, you can go in there and say, okay, well, I want to look at the pages that have a high impression count but a low click-through rate. So what I mean by that, if Google is showing your page 10,000 times and your page is getting about, let's say, 1,000 clicks, that's a 10% click-through rate. It's very simple, right? It's just math. So where Google Search Console falls short is Google Search Console does not actually tell you how much more revenue you can make, how many more clicks you can get from very specific pages, and it's very kind of, you have to do it yourself. So what we did was we created a solution here, and this is our product called ClickFlow. So ClickFlow allows you to basically, it'll tell you, okay, here's how a page is doing, here's how much more money you can make, here's how much more traffic you gain from using the tool, here's how much your click-through rate went up, here's how many tests you won, all this kind of good stuff. Here's how much more revenue you made from using the tool. So ClickFlow is good for that. And it's also going to show you basically what your average click-through rate is and what you should be targeting moving forward. So right here, I can see my average click-through rate is 1.48%. And then if I set the target threshold to 2%, here's how many more clicks I can gain. Here's how much more revenue I can gain. So I don't want to go too much into weeds here, but this is kind of a little bonus for you all. So if you actually want to get a guided demo for ClickFlow, just go to singlegrain.com/demo to check it out. And curious to see what your thoughts are, but obviously you can try out the other things that we talked about today. These things will help you out. You got BuzzSumo, you got Ahrefs, you got MarketMuse, and you got the skyscraper technique. You can go buy websites out there. Obviously you want to do your due diligence. There's a lot of stuff to do, and then you can try out ClickFlow. And obviously there's Google Search Console as well. So hopefully you enjoy this. If you really enjoy this, hit subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.